part 2 of our video journal of the camping, RV pad, and forest area. It's been just a little while, and you can see I brushed the excess sand off there. It's looking really good. This is drying. You can see these are a lot firmer. Oh, that was a little loose. A lot firmer now that the silicone is beginning to dry. A lot of that puffy paint did dry. I did end up adding a little bit more around the bottom of the fire. You can see how the flame tips look with what we did with the application of the puffy paint on there. It definitely does not look monotone or monochromatic anymore, monotone. We're tired, I'm tired. So I'll give you an overview of what is next. There'll be a picture to show you. I cut foam, floral foam. It was in different shapes. I used a serrated knife, and
it is almost as big as Violet Rose's shoe, and she's 28 inches.
Yeah, Violet Rose. That makes me laugh. Kikyo. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Okay, move that, Grace, so we can show. So you can see I cut that to fit. If you're getting a visual now of what my vision was, that the RV will be here, the camping will be here. You'll go off to the beach over this way, and that is going to be as if they're walking into the forest. So I'm going to use this with all of these beautiful glittery floral, flowery. We got those through the holiday, after the holidays. Christmases, I fell in love with them. Being afterwards, we got some of these, which are pretty low anyway, for I believe 70% off. On here for helpfulness for when I'm going to want to cover some of this once I stick everything in. You can see I just shaved some of the edges off so it won't be so it will not be me and my sews. Therefore, it will not be totally boxed when I put moss and things on it. Gracie's slapping my hand for saying that.
This is the tallest flower, and it's like probably just like not even a centimeter.
That does get a good shape. Therefore, here we are awaiting to make a forest. Stay tuned to see the rest. Here we have all of our pieces ready to go for the forest. You can see that I've begun to start playing with it. There's no wrong or right way to do it. Just play until it feels fun. I want taller in the back, and I want this to look like an opening going into the forest. Even though the wall will be there, we want it to make it look 3D. Here, I'm beginning to prep by just taking my pieces, which are whole, and just cutting some off. I got wire cutters, 2 different kinds, to kind of help me with that. Sometimes it's easy, like that, and sometimes it's not. Yeah, those ones are really easy. Sometimes they can be really hard. Oh, these ones are being really easy. Sometimes you gotta wiggle, wiggle, wiggle until they fall. I kind of pull all these up, put them in a little pile, so I have them for later if I should need them for another project. And I will just work on that and show you where we move to first. As a recap, it's been 2 days now. You can see how that has dried up. The puffy paint really looks good like ash. These are really secure.
A substitute videographer today, yes, you guessed it.
Mr. Alex.
Mr. Alex.
Gracie's with her dad. So the fire, if you can go down a little more, baby. The fire looks really, really good. Nice and shiny and sparkling. And then over here, I told you I would finish. You can get pretty close to this one. You can see how I used the puffy paint. Whoops.
Yeah.
The puffy paint to just soften that up and make it look a little less well manicured and more like dirt. There you go. More like dirt to blend in with the RV pad dirt. We shall see you in a few moments.
Guess who's back, everybody? Oh yes, special guest. You know who it is.
Mr. Alex. So I've got all my pieces all nice and cut. I have learned in this project that these cut way better than these. Did not know that. This is where you gotta do the wiggle. This cuts really quick. These are wire cutters.
Wire strippers.
Wire strippers?
Yep.
What are these ones?
Those are just snips.
Snips?
Yep, 10 snips.
All right, so we have everything all ready. I'm trying not to use too many of these because I have a future idea of a snowy ice club scene for Abby. So I'm just gonna use a few if I need them. In here, it'll just give you a quick look. Foam, the stuff sticks in. I'm just gonna play until I make my opening. Some pieces like this I'm gonna use whole because I want it to look like a whole tree, whereas this was the same thing and I cut it into little pieces so I can spread it around. And I'm just gonna play. I want some tall ones over there because we know the RV is high, so we want it to stick, and over there we'll see it on the right, so I want it to look good. So all I'll do is play. Like I said, no right or wrong. Just stick it in. You gotta not go too many holes. If you get a big hole, it won't stay in. When it is that I like it and love it, then I will put a little bit of hot glue gun in each. So just continue on and be creative. You could just get the whole thing and then I can just see how you play. Have fun. And later, I don't want the wall showing, or I might paint the wall later, but I'm gonna do a background in here of a shadow so it looks just a little more 3D. And I'll just play. And when I'm done playing, we will see you then after that. Well, I'm at a point where I've used all my glittery stuff and I'm pretty happy with it. I ended up using more of that silver. Luckily, I was wrong, and it was this stuff I had for Abby's. You can see the twinkle in that. I'll put that away for later. And I don't want too much of that in there because it'll be too white. And of course, this is for Monster High Exchange. So I really want this forest to look good because we already have Lorna Mattthewes, and we're going to use the pond for her relation to this. Marisol comes out of the forest, so that works, or out of the woods, whichever. And then we have Batsy, KJERSTI the troll, and ISI the dawn dancer, all with that woodsy relationship. So this is going to be as exquisite as I can make it. I have out more things. These are all little things I collected at holidays and whichever. Obviously, some Easter eggs. I used to make Gracie, if you've seen on Violet Rose in a different video, lots of head barrettes with the big flowers. Plus some I found that were good scale for this. I just collected those. My neighbor gave me some of those. Forgot to say, when I take those flowers off that I used in glittery, I keep these and put them away so that maybe I can use it for another project. Where that applied is these came off something else and they got that shimmery shiny look, so I'll use those. I'm glad I saved them for that. I have to add some real green because I have this moss to hide that foam, and therefore we'll need some more green. Otherwise, here's things. These I cut and they were too small. They don't have an end to poke in there, so I'll actually have to glue those. Got the rocks back out because I'm hoping to line the forest with rocks. And now that I'm happy with this, and I know that I like the way they are, and I don't want them to turn and change the shape of where they are, all I'm going to do is just put a little bit of glue gun in each one. You want to be very careful if you do this because sometimes the hot glue actually melts some of the fake plants. So not a lot, just a little bit to hold it in place so it won't twist and it won't move from the position I like it. And can you hear it crackling? These ones I've used these before. If you notice, I used some of those in Laguna's room, the living room. So I'm familiar with them and know that they do melt. And that is where we stand with that. You don't want too much glue because I am going to be adding more, and I don't want it to be so much full of glue that I cannot fill it up. I think that's looking pretty good. I will get on with filling up the gaps and filling in the glue and then getting the moss on. I have been putting in the moss. I've burned my fingers many times. Kind of working around the back. I know that this area is going to show when it bumps up into the beach to about here, so I've made that thicker. I have lots of things going on. Right now I have everything surrounding me, and I'm just filling in the back with some of these leaves, so from this angle it will look really lush and full even if you don't fully see it. Your eye definitely thinks that is really full. I've set some rocks there just to show forward. They're not set in.
Little pathway.
Little pathway, so it's now beginning to look like you have an opening to go into the forest. I have used those leftover leaves that look like this from old flowers, I found out some of the ones I used on Amanita Nightshade's purpley balls, glitter balls. I just squeezed them together and pushed them in like this and made my own plant. Now I can add whatever to that where I think I might need color. Oops. Whatever I want, I can add that later. I'm also working on the pond area, getting that ready, so that's going to look really lush and set that in. I don't remember what this pond was from. It was primed and painted by hand, and that was all puffy paint done and over as it dried to give that look. That is glow-in-the-dark puffy paint, so it looks really neat when the lights are off. Remember that tip I told you on the wax museum? Well, I've got really thin plastic here to attach that to the base, so I've been working the paint. Here you go, baby. I've been working the glue gun around it using that same effect by just putting some on, and then as it dries, while it's wet, I just kind of move it around so it'll not go in, not go out, not go anywhere, but kind of stay where I want it to set up as it's setting. And then I'll have a larger base to put the silicone on when the time comes to attach that. So that's one little thing I'm doing in between plants. And now I'll show you putting on some moss. Not fun. I've burned myself so many times. There might be a better way. This is just what I'm doing. It's messy. I grab a bunch. I have a lot of glue sticks ready. I just put a bunch of glue, stick it on, try to keep my fingers off it because that's how I've been getting burned. And as I'm working it, I'll stick a little more glue in here and just maybe use these scissors. Kind of press it in to cover the foam and to also fill in the gaps at the bottom so it begins to look really
a lot like Christmas.
a lot like Christmas, like every holiday. So it begins to look very lush and very full. You can see this is just time consuming. Ouch. And I don't worry about all the filaments coming off from the glue gun. I'll take care of all that later when I'm all done. And that is how I attach
A little spider web guy,
moss.
also known as a filament.
Oh, that might have another name. Oh, well, that kind of sticks to it. But yeah, I got some good burns. Look at that one. So yes, glue gun, and my glue gun is old. I think it's a little hotter than the more modern day craft ones. That's why I love it so much. You definitely get a feel for your glue gun. So as you can see, once we later do the rocks, put that around wherever I decide, using the same technique with silicone and glue gun. I think that's definitely beginning to look very much like an enchanted forest. See you on the next segment.
Adios, amigos.
Alrighty, here's where we're at now. I glued in or siliconed in the pond. I used that base I built up, put silicone on this area, and then a little hot glue underneath on this area so that would stick to that, hold it in place while the silicone dries. For extra support just in case, I used some caulking. That's the white stuff you see there, just to hold it in really well. That will dry clear, and then I will fill the area in with moss. So we'll give you an overview. I've begun to put the rocks in. I kind of had a funny thought on why I had all this sparkly stuff. And I remembered under the stairs before we knew we were doing the pool area, I was gonna do a little forest for Jane Blue. And then these pink ones here were gonna be for Dracula's room, but then we got the other piece and didn't have the height. So I thought that was an interesting note on how things change. So I think the moss is looking really good. The rocks are definitely adding to it. Just got to fill it out a little more, get all the details good. On the back, you can see the foam. Got to finish doing those black leaves that were a Halloween decoration. Add more fullness and fill it in the most. Coming back around. Here's where we're at now. Definitely looks interesting. And here we are, 2 or 3 hours later. We have us a very good looking forest. Just give you a little overview where it's at. Got all the rocks in there really nice. And the end, just a little flowers. I decided not to put mini flowers because I want to put flowers on the beach veranda. There's the opening going into the forest. And the rest. So now we're on to the next step. I found I needed a little bit more over here. I think it's a little light. I didn't have any more flowers, so I took the cutoffs from the green ones and just put some leftovers from Scalitas. Some other stuff I'll just do for filler. This one's got a specific purpose. So here I'm all ready. I have cut out this piece of cardboard, and if you can see right here, that's going to be the opening right here. Alex
right there.
Alex is being Alex.
That cardboard right there.
Yeah, here. There you go. So this will be the background.
Right there.
Get lost. This will be the background, so it's going to be tacked onto the back. I've put some paint stir sticks just to make it, don't move the camera too fast, it makes them dizzy.
They'll be fine.
Trust me. So that'll give it some support when it's nailed down the bottom on the other side. If you can imagine it back here at the moment, I got this one here that I'm going to use kind of like that to make it look like this little perch I've made has a tree topper. So put this little eagle that will be coming from American, I guess. We just like eagles, and it was a beautiful little figurine. So I'm going to make him look like he's lost in the trees. So this piece you can do wide will be back here like that to make it not look flat, just like we made this plywood not look flat. I am just going to have to do some painting magic using some specific paints I have here to make this specific paints, and a whole bunch of all my leftovers are coming in handy. Different color to maybe put over here. Once I get, if you can get the gist of once that's painted to look like it's going inward, 3D, then I will play with it like that so it kind of stands out when it's behind it, and give this some life and make that, remember the background, I'm hoping to have something different or paint the wall like the sky. So I don't want to see sky behind the forest, I want to see a thick forest. And on with the next segment.
Hi everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to this video, the final video of the evening. Your guest host, me. Alright, so this is an action video. This is the background.
Yes, this is for to match coming off, little 3D effect, to match coming off of the dirt.
Whoa, 3D, whoa.
Of course, that will be with some textured stuff, and I'm just cutting my scraps from other projects and making it be lifeful.
Note the action. It's action right there.
Oh, burn marks.
Action.
All right. Looks good. Can you pan out now and show it all?
Pan out.
It's starting to look like something. There we go.
All right. I don't think I turned the flash on this one.
Oh, great job, Alex.
Yeah. Well,
Great job.
there's enough lighting going on. There's action right there.
Okay, we can end it now.
And thanks for tuning in yet one more time. Until we meet again. Bye. Super buddies forever.
Ta-da! All done. Only got to attach it now. It's gonna look great behind that. A little close up. I know I put some pictures in case you want to look. My flash is bad. Put a little moss in here. Give that some life. Puffy paint on the Sharpie branches, I guess. A couple more. A little bit of the background showing through. Those extras worked in wonderfully. They're easily attached. Use some moss to make a nest. Even use a little puffy paint to put some eggs in there and kind of hold the feet too. So next, we just got to attach it. Another idea I had before, I forgot to add, I was going to do a smaller version of this behind Jane Boolill's bed. That's why we call it the jungle room. But decided that would be too busy once that bed turned out alright. Really glad all these changes happened. Now on to attaching it. Here we have it, all attached. I did take some scrap pieces and leftover floor tiles and put it on the back just for a little extra secureness and firmness. I didn't expect it to be so full of leaves and so heavy. I glue gunned at the bottom, and probably after this video I'll throw a few nails in there to attach it down to the bottom pad just to be safe. I put in hat pins or wig pins just to push them into the foam and give it a little support until it goes up in the room. Hat pins are like very large needles with a T on the end, and I also put some glue gun on it just to make sure they didn't slide out. Gravity or pressure from hanging against or setting against the wall will be what holds this in place. And onto the front, all attached. It's done, it's ready to go. I even cleaned it up. It looks fabulous. I'm very happy with the results. The little pond looks great for Luna. Or, I always say that, it's not Luna. It's Lorna McNessy. Very excited. I just seen somebody I follow put up a picture, a review of ISI, the other exchange students, and I jumped on Amazon and seen that KJERSTI is available and Batsy. I ordered the first two, not the last, because it's a little too high right now. But wow, I am so excited that they've come out just in time for this to be put in place, put the RV pad on it, and then it will be looking perfecto, a wonderful home for the Monster High exchange students. I think the doorway worked out well. The video really doesn't show the definition and the depth as well as it does in person, that for something that's only about 2 inches wide, it does look very, very vast. Awesome. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video journal. I'm calling it a video journal more so because I'm not going to video each and every step as that gets a little boring. The fire pit looks really good. You can wonder why all that blue stuff I put in the background of the forest, it really giving it a nice base, just like in here how we did it, really does give it some, it just helps. It's a foundation, and I didn't want any white showing through that. But this looks really good. I did add just a little more yellow to the tips of the fire, just so it would stand up a little more. I'm happy I did that. So there you have it. RV pad, camp, and forest is ready to go up into the doll room and pull that RV right in. Thanks for watching, and let me know what you think. Super buddies forever.